What's up, people, and welcome back to another episode of The Mind Behind the Curtain. What's up, what's up, what's up? We're back with Sean in the house, and we got Kobe in the back working the camera. Say hello.
Yo.
What's up?
What up, bud?
So today, man, we got another episode where we're going to be talking about the film industry.
Yeah.
And so the title of this episode is, Can You Make a Living in the Film Industry? Right? Or working in the film industry, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you have hot and cold time periods of the industry. Like
Right.
you had BC hot for a while, then everything went to Toronto.
Yeah.
It shut down to BC for a period of time. So I mean, yeah, like, what's the reality of it?
Yeah. Well, the question is, can you make a living working in the film industry? And the film industry has so much avenues that you can go into, and it's such a vast industry because you can start as a crew member and then work your way up as a an assistant director, or even direct. You know,
Yeah.
So there's so many ways that you can find a position in the film industry. You can do wardrobe, makeup. You can be the sound guy. You can be endless amounts of things that are needed in the film industry. There's thousands of positions available.
There's also unions too in the industry too, right?
There's also unions. So the union for the crew members, it's IATSE and all that, and then there's other ones. The Teamster. You can even
for the
work.
drivers, yeah.
You
I
can
looked
even
at
work
that
as
industry.
a driver, man.
I
And
looked at that.
that is a great, like, you know what? Like, I even considered doing that as one of my retirement jobs.
Yeah, I
you know?
thought about it.
Yeah, it pays well, long hours.
Well, for
but-
me, it was just like with my mom's health, Parkinson's, taking care of her. The
Yeah.
long hours is the reason why I didn't. But yeah, I know some truckers, guys
Yeah.
in the industry, and the money great, but it was like the 18-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Raising them young, it wasn't feasible for me during that time. But now that they're grown, yeah, at this point in my life, it is something that I've thought about. Once my mom gets settled in her situation, then yeah.
Yeah, and now they require the Class 1 license. So you need to get your Class 1.
I know that.
Before, you only needed like a passenger license where you can actually just carry passengers. Now they want you to have the Class 1 because they might make you move a rig or a big truck. But yeah, man, in my experience, you were mentioning that we've had setbacks in the film industry, or we've had
because I remember doing extra work back in the day. And I have
Yeah.
friends who were in the industry, who were actors in the industry, and like Vancouver, BC was Hollywood North. It was popping and so forth.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we had the tax issue when we had I forget who was in charge at the time, which later it was.
Yeah.
And which the taxes benefits compared to
That's
Toronto
right.
made everything just all of a sudden disappear out of BC. Like
That's right.
It was like a ghost town.
That's right. It was basically the cutbacks and all that. Like what happened was that once the government found out that there were big budget films coming into this province, and it was Christy Clark, I think. They figure that, man, if we can get more out of these productions, it will benefit the province.
They were thinking greedy. They weren't thinking long term.
Exactly. And
Toronto's like, okay, we'll give you the tax breaks, bring all that money here because of the jobs and everything it creates.
Exactly. And Toronto, I mean, it's so close to New York, and New York is always bustling. And
they run America.
Exactly. The advantage that we have here in BC is that this location here in BC, you can make it look like
we have
anything.
everything. We have everything.
Yeah. We were
have
out.
Desert. We have
everything.
You have desert in Kelowna, Osoyoos, all that stuff.
Yeah, Revelstoke. You go up to Revelstoke and you got cactuses growing out.
Exactly. You got the water, you got the snow, you got everything out here.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like that's why they loved it, is because you have Chilliwack.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Farmland. You go to like rural areas, like whatever energy vibe you want to create, it's all here. The islands.
Yeah, we were out in Michigan for a TV show where they had to make it look like Guatemala. And man, and Guatemala, not just Guatemala, but Guatemala in the 70s. So they brought these cars from the 1970s, the motorcycles and all this. I got hired to drive one of these like old school 1970 motorcycles. Man, it was fun. But dude, you walk into that set and it was like Guatemala. like down to like the vendors like selling tamales and shit. It was pretty crazy, man. I've also worked in a Fantastic Four where they made downtown this alley. They converted this whole alley downtown into make it look like Saigon or whatever or China. China.
No, what they can do is like I know guys who worked on the studios, like did build construction for sets and so forth. So it's like I've heard, and I know guys who do special effects. Like I hear a lot of the stories of some of the stuff, but it's just like you're involved. You know what it's like firsthand for working, but for the rest of us, it's just like on the outside looking in. Is like because like I said, my kid is something he's thought about. If he wants to be an actor, okay, we already know that's hard enough to make a living. But the industry itself, if he falls into anything else, is it survivable in BC? And you don't think it's going to phase as long as the taxes don't change and the government's smart enough now, right? Like it's going to keep booming.
Well, the question is obviously it relates to the title. Can you make a living in the film industry? And obviously there's a lot of people, including myself, that have made a living out of working in the film industry. But it just depends how you look at it and what your goals are, right? One of the things that I would always advise people that ask me, like, is it worth becoming a union member or becoming or staying a non-union member?
Yeah.
I always tell them, you know what, make it a goal to become a union member, because when you have a career, when you go get a career, right? Yeah. What does that job or that career provide you with once you are in the working force? It provides you with security, a retirement plan, vacation pay, all these benefits, right?
Yeah.
You become unionized, and you got all that. You're feeding into your RSPs. You have a plan where you can actually apply it to your medical or your dental or whatever plan. So you're covered. You have insurance. So that becomes a career.
How long though for you did it take before you were able to make a living at it?
Well,
without any other job to support it and so forth. How long did that take for you?
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I have to say on that is that in the beginning, I looked at it as a hobby. Yeah. It was like, and most actors go into it as just having fun with it and see where it goes, right? Like you talked to your son about this whole thing becoming famous. Sure, there's people out there that's
why they want to be an actor. They just want to be famous.
Yeah, they want their face on a tabloid. They want to see it on billboards and all that.
Yeah.
My thing was always like, you know what, I'm gonna have fun with it, because that's one thing I learned back in high school, that I had fun with it.
Yeah.
You do discover yourself when you get into the acting world, because you get taught certain exercises that involve meditation, exploring yourself, your
breaking
your
down
persona.
your walls, letting your walls down.
Crying.
Being
if you have to cry, being vulnerable.
Knowing how to be vulnerable and
that's one thing. If you're gonna be an actor, that's one of the key things. Learn to be vulnerable and to just take away that ego. And don't worry about like, oh, this is my best side, don't film me on this side. No, maybe that other side is what fits on for the scene, you know what I mean? But so I got into it as a hobby, and then 2 years down the road of work, because I started doing background work, I got my first gig getting back into this, because I did it as a kid in high school, and I did more specific stuff when I was a kid. But when I got back into it as an adult, I went straight into auditioning, and I got a part. So right away I got a part. Just on my first day back, I got a part, man. Out of like 356 people that auditioned, 3 people out of BC got the part. So I was one of them. So I was like thankful, and I was honored, and then I ended up doing it. And man, it was a great experience. And I was like, you know what? I want to keep doing this.
What if that didn't happen?
If that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have seen it as something that I wanted to do, I'm
just saying, it's kind of weird, like how it played out, like where you were in your life for that moment to happen.
Exactly, and it's opportunities, man. This whole industry is all about opportunities. Life is about opportunities. And so at the time, I just had finished working for a big web firm and blah, 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 blah. And I was a web publisher. So I still had my own company, which I opened, and I was still doing graphic design. But that was during that time was when the internet had died down because of 9/11. So we were feeling the effects of 9/11. So nobody wanted to invest money on the internet. Nobody wanted to publish stuff. Everything was gone. Graphic design was almost like nobody was doing anything. So I looked into the film industry, because like you have a slogan or a motto that you follow is yourself, that it's about going to where the money is. Go where the money is. And when I looked at the film industry, man, I was like, you know what? What? $7 billion a year? are you kidding me? Just alone in BC? Like, dude, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
This is where I need to be if I want to make some money, because I wanted to make money and I wanted to have fun with it. So I got that opportunity. 2 years down the road, going back to what I was about to say, was that a buddy of mine asked me, he goes, so are you doing this as a living now? And I'm like, no, bro, it's still a hobby. He's like, well, how many days are you working? And I go, well, I started getting back into background and I'm doing some special stuff, like special ability stuff, like shooting guns, driving motorcycles, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Borderline stunt stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And
I know guys who do that too.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm working almost every day, man. And he goes, so this is your career? And I was like, holy shit. And it dawned on me, man. And I was like, why don't I make this a career? So I started asking questions. How do I make my acting? The
union, all that stuff. Yeah. How do I build and so forth? I got
so
you.
The first step was to become a union member. Then after that, everything followed. It took me about 3 years to become a full member of the union. Back then, you only needed 3 credits. Talking about visible minorities, you only needed 3 credits because you were a visible minority. But then on the day that I went to register my 3rd credit, they said that they changed the rules to like 6 credits across the board. But now we're back to 3 credits, bro. So it's a lot easier for people to become full members, man.
Yeah.
But I went through so many sweat and tears, man. And the thing is too that I was very green getting back into the film industry, because I was still thinking like the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, like that's how I need to talk, right? Like this is,
I remember,
because I remember all the shows, man, and I was like, I need to talk like this, like how Johnny Depp talked in 21 Jump Street, you know what I mean?
I remember.
Yeah, with some swag and that kind of like 80s talk, right?
Yeah, I got
and so the directors or casting directors would be like, oh, okay, yeah, no. So I missed out on so many opportunities, man, until it dawned on me that, this is a new world, man.
Today.
We don't. Man. Nowadays, like as we speak today, the acting is nonchalant, bro. Like you
real.
don't. Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's real.
They look for real.
Yeah.
They wanted to make it.
That's what I've always said.
You.
That's what I've always said. I go, what it's going to come down to is like, it's just about being real. Because when you look at all the shit and all these actors and all the stories and this, be yourself, man.
That's right.
Because everyone else who tries to be something that they're not, they all crumble and fail.
Yeah.
And the more, because you're more sellable, the more real they know what the fuck you are. Because when you're trying to put out something fake, what are they hiding? Mm-hmm. All your managers, they got to deal with that shit. The more vulnerable you are, the more real you are, the more easy you are to handle. Because in today, it's not it's not the same, dude. Social media.
Yeah.
Like I said to my kids, it's like, I used to think about being an actor too, and it's just like, I don't know if I'd want to be that fucking famous. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have the power and this, but look at the way you live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that really living free and being able to go outside?
No.
Like, for some of them, no way.
No.
If I was...
It has its perks.
Yeah.
But it also isolates yourself. Talking about quarantining yourself. Some of these actors, man, they're used to quarantining themselves.
Yeah, because
There's nothing different. No. You know what I mean? Yeah.
They live in like fucking acres of land to hide because people will fucking mob them and rip them apart.
That's right. And when you have that kind of money,
and also, the stalkers too. That's the thing that bothered me.
All this stuff. Yeah. And you never know when somebody might not like what you say.
I remember how many actors we remember watching getting killed as kids because of a stalker and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like you don't hear about it as much anymore.
Yeah. No.
But
we come from the era with the Charles Manson and all that stuff, like obviously we're not that old, but we've heard the reminiscence of that, and we heard the stories.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's that you have to worry about. But when you're that rich, you kind of create your own citadel, man. You have your own little
security.
your own security, your own things that you like to do. Your private jets. So you can fly anywhere you want.
You're very isolated though.
Yeah, and you are very isolated. And what is interesting about this whole pandemic is that they keep telling us stick to your bubble, create your bubble, right? These actors are used to staying within their bubbles, and they feed their families, and their families come together once. Like these people find success. Yeah. Obviously, they gravitate to them because they're like, hey, that guy's got money.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, we can live off that.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I mean, like for me, it's like it's got its ups and advantages and so forth. People don't look at like, okay, if you're famous, who cares about the negative?
Yeah.
But you see some of the actors what they go through, the drugs, the alcohol, because of all that shit. So I mean, it's like I said to him, it's like. Why do you want to be an actor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but as long as like the reality is like you can make a living at it, I mean, good on you, man. Because a lot of people they give up.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you see, this is the thing. Whenever a child tells a parent, "I want to become an actor," that has a stigma attached to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
An actor?
Oh, I
what?
went through it.
You're not gonna make no money, man.
I know.
Because immediately you think this person is gonna go on the road and be like performing on some caravan on a stage somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and what? He's gonna get paid peanuts, right? That's not a living.
Yeah.
But nowadays, the entertainment world has become something so much different than our generation, man. And there's so many venues like YouTube and all this stuff where you can actually showcase your stuff and actually make a living.
Yeah.
There's YouTubers that are making like millions. I worked in a production called I can't remember it right now. Sorry, I can't remember the name, and I don't want to say it because I'm gonna probably screw it up. But these guys were YouTubers, and they made enough money through their YouTube channel that they ended up opening up their own production company, and they ended up making their own movies.
Oh yeah, well,
and there was 3 of them.
You create it yourself. If you want, like there's a lot of people who've done that before. If you want to do it, you got to do it yourself.
That's right. And then they diversed, and now the thing about keeping it real within yourself, right? If you have a character, if you are a character in real life, and people gravitate to you and they love you, and then you make them laugh, that's what's gonna sell.
Yeah, you can market it.
With actors like from our generation, like you got the Robert De Niro's, the Al Pacinos, and all the people, and now the new ones, the Matthew McConaughey's, that are like dramatic actors, right? They at the end of the day, it's their personality shining through whatever character they're portraying, right? They have the same tone of voice, the same levels,
exactly,
right? And that, I mean, going back to the other thing that you were saying about, there's a bunch of stuff that it could be bad, a bunch of stuff that could be good. We already touched base on the stigma of becoming an actor and making a living out of it. If you make it a profession, you will see that the film industry, when you're working as an actor, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of it's very eccentric. You know what I mean?
I
know
what you mean.
Because you're an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Creativity.
Yeah. So
everyone's there for the same reason, because everyone wants to be a part of creating something.
So if you actually, like your son said, Dad, I wanna be in this because I wanna show my creativity, bro. That's a key thing.
Yeah. No.
And that's a lot of children these days are being suppressed to not show their creativity. You know?
Oh, I know. Schools, everything. They shut down the program.
Like, why are you making that drawing? That drawing. Oh, what the hell is that? But you know what? Guess what? That drawing maybe might sell like for millions later on down the road. You never know.
Yeah. For me, it's like I did with my mom's disease. I started doing painting, and it's like abstract.
Yeah.
And it's like I've some of them. It's just like I have no idea what the hell or how I did that, because I've tried to go back and paint them. It's like, okay, I'm not in that mood or energy, but it's just like they're all so crazily different.
Yeah.
But they all express a certain emotion or feeling.
That's right.
And that's what it about is. And
you put your emotion on the canvas.
Well, the thing is, I think that's what every human being wants. Everyone wants to matter. Everyone wants to know they existed or made a difference. I think that's why we have such a culture of wanting to be famous, and the social media and the way that everyone's going about it to be famous is because people just want you to know they exist.
Leave your mark.
People don't want to be invisible. They want to be seen.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm here. Yeah. And I know this is a segue and maybe a direction in a change of direction in the topic. Yeah. But when you talk about wanting to be known and leaving your mark and wanting to be seen, and the more people talk about something, right? Yeah. And it actually becomes a tradition, the more that essence of that person or that tradition stays alive. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If you keep saying and believing, it's going to happen.
Exactly.
It's a positive thing.
Like we have a thing that we as humans do that we tell stories, right?
Yep.
So let's say for the whole time being that you were raising your children, you talked about grandpa and grandma, right? Mm-hmm. And you told them the stories and the traditions, and it became a tradition to actually sit at the dinner table, and every night you talked about a story, right? About grandma. Eventually your kids, when they have kids, they're gonna pass on that. They're gonna say, hey, you know what, grandma used to be like this, and you know what, your children might have a daughter that daughter for some reason is gonna be like grandma, and then one day you're gonna be like, that little girl reminds me of my mother, man. My mother used to do the same things.
My son said that to me. He's like, with everything that's gone on this year with 2020 and all the fucked up crazy shit, I've educated him on history. We've had, like, I'm not a conspiracy person, but I just say follow the money. Like, if you know things aren't making sense, question it. You know what I mean? Like, trust what you're seeing in your own gut.
Yeah.
So we've had some conversations. And when it came to the Christmas card, he's like, thank you for these conversations. Because I had no clue of why people are feeling what they're feeling, where all these thoughts, like why people think it's the end of the world, why the fuck are people talking about this shit and this shit. He's like, what the fuck are they, where is this all, because everyone's coming from everywhere, and he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with everyone? Like, why is everyone talking this shit? So, and then he'll Uber and he'll start talking to people, asking people, and he's like, a lot more people are awake. A lot more people know shit's fucked up, like with the COVID, the vaccine, and all this shit. There's like, a lot more people are like not so clueless here. A lot more people are like, things aren't making sense, and they're just realizing, okay, things aren't making sense.
That's right.
And it's like once someone will say something, someone else will. But he's like, just thanks for the conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm enlightening him on history.
That's right.
I go, people will think I'm crazy, this and this. He's like, yeah, Dad, you were talking about shit before, and I used to think, you're kind of. But he's like, everything that happens this year is everything you've been talking about. So he's like, you ain't fucking crazy. You knew what the fuck was going on. You were just waiting for, knew it was going to happen earlier. You were off on your time. But he's just like, how? Why though? And I just said, like, Kennedy, certain events. I go, I paid attention to certain things said, kid. So they were said for a reason. Follow it. Go look myself. Don't trust anyone else to tell me shit no more, because that's all over with.
That's right.
And I go, that's the one thing I've realized. It's like, as a parent, for me, I've done a lot of bad things. And as a parent, I could not mention one goddamn thing about it to my kids. And honestly, why the fuck did I go through it then? Why the hell did I go through the shit I went through if it's not to tell my kids what the fuck I went through and don't do this?
That's right. That's right.
Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
This is what... You want to go this way? This is your outcome. This is where you're going to end up. These are the scenarios that you'll come across. So for me as a parent, it wasn't like you tell your kid everything you went through, because you went through it for a reason. You went through it to pass it on, not to hide it from them, not to put them in a bubble and protect them or pretend it doesn't exist. You tell them all the fucking nitty gritty shit you went through.
That's right.
Because your job is to give them information.
That's right.
And the more truthful information they have, then they can make the best choice for themselves, because they know the pros and the cons.
That's right.
They're not delusional.
That's right. And they see you for who you are, man.
Oh, dude.
Like they see their dad for who you really are. And talking about the acting, going back to the acting, you're not pretending to be something that you're not, and then you're telling your story, and then you're passing on your life experience to your children, man.
And that's why I said for him, go for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And going back, I mean, the world of film, it doesn't only have to be acting. I mean, there's so many more things. You don't have, and in terms of acting as well, you don't have to stay in front of the TV. I mean, in front of the camera. You can be behind the camera. You can actually do voiceover work. You can become a coach, a dialect coach. If you can do different dialects of accents. If you learn like the New Yorker accent, you can do New York. You can do all this stuff.
British, all that stuff.
British, all that stuff that you can actually help other actors on set learn how to do that. So you can actually become a dialect coach, and that pays really well, man. Like really, really well. So you can do so much, man. You can be a stunt double. You can,
everybody's do that stuff.
And the great thing about the film industry is that when you realize that you don't know nothing about nothing, is when you get a list of the things that they ask you. Can you do this? Can you? Man, I got a 5-pager one day. Can you do any of this stuff? I was like, holy shit, ukulele? Like, I never played a fucking ukulele. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to go pick one up and
fiddle around and see what I can do.
Guess what? I got hired to fucking play the ukulele, man. On the day, I got paid $36 an hour, but I was pretending, bro. I was like, ding, 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 pretending, because there was a playback, but just made it look like I knew, because I took 2 hours of my time to learning how to fucking...
So they're playing the sound of someone playing it, and they're not even using your sound?
They're not even using my sound, bro.
Okay, see, people, it's okay to lie on a resume sometimes. It actually pays off.
Oh, man, the best... If you're a good liar, you're a good actor.
If you're a good bullshitter... Yeah,
anyway,
I know a lot of good actors.
We don't encourage any of that bullshitting. But yes, let's conclude this episode, man.
You can make a living.
You can make a living in this industry, man. It's all about your goals and diversing yourself. Branch out, because
if you love the industry and the creativity, maybe your dream isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
but it's like it's putting you on the right path of what you want.
And look, it's like anything, and I'll conclude this episode with this. You know, you can be a doctor, you can be a dentist, you can be a police officer, and all that. But eventually, things are gonna catch up to you. You're gonna either be old, or your what your knowledge of that thing is will be outdated, and it will become obsolete. So you gotta always think to have a backup plan. And one thing that you always have to be aware of is the current events, current technology. Where is the world today?
Yeah.
You know, and educate yourself on that, because that's where the money will be.
Yeah.
You know,
where this world is going.
Exactly. So so I hope you guys enjoyed it. All the best to all those people that want to become actors, like Kobe, man. You know what I mean? I'm here for you, man. All right. Take
Thanks
care.
all. Peace.
Ciao.